Welcome to our exploration of global integrity and corruption. In this video, we will uncover the 7 most corrupt countries, delving into how political instability, conflict, and mismanagement fuel corruption in places like Somalia, South Sudan, and Venezuela. Then, we'll turn our focus to the bright spots on the map by highlighting 3 nations, Denmark, New Zealand, and Finland, that have earned their reputation as bastions of trust and transparency. Join us as we dissect these contrasting realities and understand the implications of corruption and integrity worldwide. 1. Somalia. Corruption's relentless stronghold. Somalia has maintained its standing as the world's most corrupt country for another consecutive year, earning a staggeringly low score of 12 out of 100 on the 2025 Corruption Perceptions Index, CPI. The government's authority barely stretches beyond the capital, with regional warlords, clan leaders, and armed groups wielding unchecked power. Bribery is commonplace in nearly every aspect of life, from getting basic services to avoiding harassment at checkpoints. International donors and humanitarian organizations have repeatedly flagged missing aid money and embezzlement as chronic problems. According to the United Nations Development Programme, decades of instability have created a shadow economy where corruption is the norm rather than the exception. Many families have little choice but to pay bribes to access education or healthcare. The absence of independent judicial and law enforcement bodies only deepens distrust in any official process. 2. South Sudan. Entrenched corruption amid chaos. In 2025, South Sudan holds a CPI score of just 13, reflecting a dire situation that has barely improved since its independence. The country's vast oil wealth, intended to fund development, has instead vanished into the pockets of political elites. A 2024 World Bank report details how billions of dollars in oil revenues remain unaccounted for, while public sector salaries go unpaid for months. Civil servants and military officers commonly demand kickbacks to perform routine duties. The lack of transparency is so severe that even basic budget details are often unavailable to the public or journalists. Humanitarian organizations have found that aid must regularly be negotiated with corrupt officials and local militias, driving up the cost and complexity of life-saving assistance. These systemic abuses have left citizens with little hope for a fair or functional government. 3. Syria. Conflict-born corruption. Syria's ongoing civil war has created fertile ground for corruption, and the nation's CPI score of 14 underscores the severity of the problem. Since 2011, the collapse of central authority has enabled war profiteers, government insiders, and armed groups to siphon off billions in humanitarian and reconstruction funds. Reports from Human Rights Watch in 2024 highlight how government officials routinely demand bribes for permits, safety guarantees, and access to aid. The justice system is widely regarded as compromised, with judges and police accepting payments to ignore crimes or secure favorable rulings. Everyday Syrians must navigate a labyrinth of corrupt officials just to access basic services or rebuild destroyed homes. These practices have persisted despite international sanctions and efforts to provide oversight, making corruption a daily reality. 4. Venezuela. A crisis of trust and mismanagement. Venezuela continues to slide down the CPI, landing at 15 in 2025. The country's economic collapse, marked by hyperinflation and shortages, has been compounded by breathtaking corruption in both public and private sectors. Government officials and military leaders have been repeatedly accused of laundering billions of dollars through state-run oil companies and shell businesses. According to a 2025 World Bank assessment, more than 80% of Venezuelans perceive corruption as a major barrier to progress and recovery. Independent journalists who attempt to uncover scandals face harassment and imprisonment, while whistleblowers are often forced into exile. Even basic commodities, like food and medicine, are often only available through black markets fueled by corrupt networks. The result is a nation where trust in government has all but evaporated. 5. Yemen. Corruption deepening humanitarian woes. Yemen's CPI score reached 16 in 2025, reflecting how corruption has further devastated a country already reeling from war and famine. The lack of a unified government has ushered in widespread bribery, with local officials and armed groups demanding payment for everything from security to safe passage. UNDP reports note that aid shipments are routinely diverted or stolen before reaching those in need. Government workers, often unpaid for months, frequently solicit bribes to process paperwork or release supplies. The education and healthcare systems are especially vulnerable, with teachers and doctors sometimes demanding unofficial fees to provide services. These practices have made it nearly impossible for outside organizations to deliver effective help, leaving many Yemenis feeling abandoned by both their own leaders and the world. 6. Iraq. Oil wealth lost to corruption. Iraq remains mired in corruption with a CPI score of 16 in 2025. Despite vast oil resources, a significant portion of state revenue never reaches the population due to graft at every level. Investigations by the Iraqi Commission of Integrity and international watchdogs revealed that billions of dollars have disappeared from public coffers over the past 2 years. Bribery is routine for business licenses, government contracts, and even electricity access. In 2024, the government announced new anti-corruption courts, but results have been slow and largely symbolic. Citizens regularly express frustration that no high-ranking officials are ever held to account. This entrenched corruption has stifled efforts to rebuild public infrastructure and created a pervasive sense of injustice. 7. Libya. Division and disorder fueling corruption. Libya's CPI score rose slightly to 17 in 2025, but corruption remains endemic. The country's fractured political landscape, with rival governments in Tripoli and Tobruk, has enabled officials and militia leaders to siphon off public funds with impunity. International Monetary Fund reports indicate that oil revenues, Libya's economic lifeblood, are routinely diverted into private accounts rather than being invested in public services. The lack of a national police force or functioning judiciary means that ordinary Libyans must often pay bribes simply to register property or avoid arbitrary detention. The ongoing conflict has also created opportunities for smuggling and trafficking, activities often protected or managed by corrupt insiders. As a result, the population continues to suffer despite Libya's natural wealth. 8. Denmark. A model of integrity. Denmark consistently tops the list of the world's least corrupt countries, with a CPI score of 88 in 2025. Transparency International credits Denmark's success to a culture of openness, a robust legal system, and independent oversight bodies. Danish citizens expect honesty from their leaders, and the media plays an active role in exposing wrongdoing. A 2025 survey by the European Social Survey found that over 90% of Danes trust their government to act in the public interest. Corruption scandals are rare, and when they do occur, they prompt swift resignations and legal action. Public access to government records and open debates on policy issues foster a sense of collective responsibility. This environment has supported Denmark's reputation as a global leader in trust and transparency. 9. New Zealand. Trust through transparency. New Zealand holds a CPI score of 87, making it one of the world's most trusted nations in 2025. The country's government is noted for its strong anti-corruption laws and highly transparent public sector. According to the 2024 World Justice Project Rule of Law Index, New Zealand ranks at the top for government accountability and absence of corruption. Civil society is vibrant, and citizens feel empowered to report wrongdoing without fear of retaliation. The police and judiciary are regarded as fair and impartial, further strengthening public confidence. Government officials are held to strict ethical standards, and violations are met with decisive action. Such a culture of integrity has helped New Zealand maintain stable growth and a high quality of life. 10. Finland. Trusted institutions, trusted society. Finland earned a CPI score of 86 in 2025, a testament to its long-standing reputation for integrity. The Finnish government emphasizes transparency, evident in its open procurement processes and easily accessible public records. Education about ethics and anti-corruption starts early in schools, creating a culture of honesty from a young age. In a 2025 survey by the University of Helsinki, more than 85% of Finns said they trust their local and national institutions. Investigations into official misconduct are handled by truly independent agencies, with findings made public. The media operates freely, exposing any deviations from expected conduct. These factors combine to make Finland one of the most trusted countries in the world, both by its citizens and the international community.